Okay, so some of the older decks and the older books didn't have numerology necessarily in their guides, and they were organized in different ways. I think having a basic couple of keywords that you think of when you think of the numbers 1 through 10 helps you, and then it kind of expands into the suits how you would use it. So also you can use that in the association with the major arcana, because you have the 1 through 10 on the major arcana, and then you have things lining up that way. So if you were to do the daily 1 through 10, and then you consider the court cards, the page, the knight, the queen, the king, you would go from 10, 11 would be the page, 12 the knight, 13 the queen, 14 the king. So that's how it would be. And sometimes in those terms, I would think of page, the 11, what's going on in 11? Oh, the justice card. I would think of the page, the 1 plus 1 is 2, a little bit of an advancement in the knowledge. If I go to the knight, I think of, okay, what's going on in the 12 card? There's a hanged man, it's a different perspective. And if you do the 1 plus 2 is 3, there's something new being created. So there can be a little bit of turbulence. You can think how they relate to each other in those kind of structures. The basic numerology, this is a good one from the Everyday Witch deck. You guys have seen me use that one a lot. That's this fabulous deck, right? Some of the older ones don't have numerology set in there. Like I say, their structures are organized differently. I'm going to go over a little bit of some of the basics, and then I might go into this mountain climber chart in a little bit about the suits. But let's do the numerology, then we'll do some of the suits. So this one is telling about the feelings of the numbers. So take notes if you want. In writing things down, when I write things down, I remember better. So you can have a printout like this, or print something offline. But if you really want to get to know something, use blue ink when you write. I always do that if you're studying for a test. And the blue ink helps your memory and helps you relax. And then write 1 through 10 and do it. And then if you want to do a separate page or graphing, do it that way. Here we're starting with this. I'm just going to read some of this, and I may send this out to you. Now this is to do with more like energetic feeling of the numbers. Aces are meaning I will or I won't. I will or I will not. Think of it in terms of the Fool. In the terms of each one is being presented on the gift out of the heavens, like the hand of God is presenting something. I will or I will not. The 2s, I know or I don't know. The 3s, I make or I don't make as far as creation. The 4s, I realize or I don't realize. When you think of the 4 of Swords, he's resting on his coffin in the sanctuary of the church, that kind of thing. The 5s, I believe or I don't believe. What's causing the disruption? The 6s, I choose or I don't choose. The 7s, the wiser path, or not being in control, and it's kind of unstable. The 8s, they view as strength. Now see how that mirrors the strength in the major arcana. That's where you have the woman and the lion. So the 8s, they view as strength or lacking strength to overcome. The 9, using wisdom that you've gained through your experience or lacking the wisdom. And then the 10s, it's time to make a change. It's no changes, time to make a change, and the only things. All right, so that's how some of this is going. Now, I'm going to read you what's in this book, and then we'll go to my version. You'll find that they're pretty similar. In fact, let's do them side by side. The aces from this, in their basic numerology, is new beginnings or opportunities. I put new beginnings in new. The 2s, they have as relationships or choices. For 2, I have choices and togetherness. The 3s, they have teamwork or creativity. The 3s, I have community, creation. The 4s, they're about stagnation or stability. And I put solidify. I put foundation. These are things that come back to me when I'm thinking Emperor, when I think of the 4 of Wands, when I think of the Tower and the foundation there, of the 4 points of a square. That all comes into play in my mind. The number 5s, chaos, conflict, and loss. And I put change and chance. It's time for a risk when you hit the 5s. Number 6, they have community. They have relationships, help, and support. I put identity in the now. It's the moment of the identity. In the 6 of Wands, it's the riding in the parade and people have helped you achieve something. In the 6 of Cups, this is happier times you're thinking of. 6 of Swords, you're leaving because something no longer jives with your life. Who you are you victim or are you victor? You're leaving the rough waters for smooth, that kind of thing. So 6 of Coins, giving and taking, which end of that are you on? So the 7s is reassessment. Now I really like that one. That one I groove on. 7s, reassessment, reflection, planning, and decisions. That's a whole lot of words. It's not a quick keyword. 7s, I put lessons. and lenses, the way you look at things, the evaluation, the focus. Sevens in the major arcana would be the Chariot, right? So then you have eights, the power of movement or the lack thereof. Now this is interesting because it has movement as an individual thing. The 8 is strength in the major arcana. The Chariot is not 8. So that's an interesting little discrepancy. 8 has to do with timing and hard work and doing things over and over. So the reason that they would put power and movement, I think power and consistency is actually in there, believe it or not. You have the 8 of Swords, kind of self-hostage, self-doubt. You have the 8 of Wands. This is lots of energy, rapid movement. On that one it applies, but it's messages back and forth. It's communication. You have the 8 of Coins, doing the same thing over and over, really acquiring a skill. So I guess in that regard, it's advancement. And then the 8 of Cups, what are you longing for and what are you leaving? So it really is a movement in the heart more than in the geography, and then it might lead to that. Now the nines are breakthroughs for me, and they have solitude, independence, isolation, and the individual. On nines, I have breakthroughs and finally here. The tens, they have completion, something coming to an end, fulfillment, and I have journey's end, legacies left. So these are the different things. Now, some books that are the old books don't even have the numerology set up. You can look at these numbers and see how you think they grow. What do you think they mean? And then make your own little keywords of 1 to 10. You'll find they switch over time. It'll be surprising. If you go for a printout, here's this printout with a whole paragraph. Did Angie learn it and memorize this paragraph? No, I did not. No. But what I did do is read through this, find which of those apply. And I liked this so well that I probably photocopied this 20 years ago and saved it. But what I find myself going to is this. What do these numbers mean in real life to me? What do they mean in conjunction with things to me? So that's kind of amateur numerology of how you go forward with things. And it has to be that you speak the language of the cards and they speak to you. So if you have the keyword that is over all the suits and then combine it with the suits, it's a great way to go about it. So we're going to set up this little chart. It's the mountain climber chart. And we're going to take a look at that and see what happens with it. Now, 1 second. Give me a second to get it. Will you put that on pause?